Hey guys, welcome back to episode 8 of US stock market technical analysis. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you my technical analysis for the S&P 500, the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq. And I'll be going through with you my technical analysis for these three major US indexes. So before we start, I'd like to share with you a quick overview of what is going on in the stock markets right now. Historically, the stock market tends to be a bit more volatile towards the end of the year. So as we reach towards the end of the year, the stock market tends to be a bit more choppy. And as we go through the three major US indexes later on, you'll see that these indexes were relatively more choppy in the past couple of weeks compared to previously. In addition to these historical trends, we also have the US presidential elections this year, which has resulted in greater uncertainties in the market and more volatility. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the US stock markets right now. So let's begin by taking a look at the technical analysis for the S&P 500. And as always, we'll begin with the weekly time frame and work our way down from there. This is the weekly time frame for the S&P 500. So if we zoom in right now to where we are currently at, which is this candlestick, we are back to where we were about 2 months ago, which was around here. We had a 10% correction or pullback about a month ago. So the pullback and the correction was this part over here before we managed to recover some of those losses, and now we are back to this point here. We managed to recover some of the losses over here, but you can see that in the past 2 weeks, the recovery has slowed down. So the stock market was in the red 2 weeks ago and also was in the red last week. Let's take a look at the daily time frame to see how prices have fared recently. On the daily time frame over here, we see that prices were on a downtrend. And this was indicated by lower highs and lower lows. So we see prices making lower highs, so from here to here, so that was a lower high. And also prices making lower lows, so this low to this low. So prices were making lower highs and lower lows. So for that part of the chart, prices were on a downtrend. However, for the right side of the chart, prices made higher lows and higher highs. This was a higher low and this was also another higher low. And this was a higher high and this was also another higher high. So on the left side of the chart, prices were on a downtrend, and on the right side of the chart, prices were on an uptrend. So although the S&P 500 was in the red in the past 2 weeks, we are still technically on an uptrend. So based on the price action for the S&P 500 on the daily time frame, I'm still bullish for the S&P 500. So where do the S&P 500 has to drop for me to change my view from bullish to bearish? To show you, let's take out the technicals for the chart. So if we take a look here, we can see that prices were on an uptrend here, as indicated by the higher lows and the higher highs. So right now we have another pullback over here, but we are still making higher lows. So if we compare the lows over here, so this was the low and this low over here, you can see that prices are still making higher lows. So even though prices have declined recently, technically we are still on an uptrend because prices are still making higher lows. Now let's analyze the price action for the past week. So we'll begin with this candlestick over here, which was on Monday. So on Monday we had a very long bearish candlestick. We opened at around 348.54 and closed at around 342. So prices declined quite substantially on Monday. However, this strong bearish momentum did not continue. If you take a look at the candlesticks on Tuesday and on Wednesday, you see that on both days, the candlesticks had small bodies and long shadows and tails. So a candlestick with small real body and long shadows and tails are what we call doji candlesticks. And doji candlesticks on our price chart tells us that there was indecision in the stock market. So you can see that although there was strong bearish momentum on Monday, the strong bearish momentum did not continue on Tuesday and Wednesday. But instead, what we saw on Tuesday and Wednesday was indecision in the markets. And after the bearish day on Monday, prices were trading in a range for the rest of the week. So prices were trading between around 346 and around 341. So you can see that when prices reached the upper part of the range, there was price rejection. So you see that on Tuesday, prices were pushed up by the buyers all the way to the level of around 346 before the sellers start to step in and push prices back down to close at the level of around 343. And it was the same thing on Wednesday. Prices opened at around 343 before prices were pushed up all the way to the upper part of the range. And when prices reach the upper part of the range, the sellers start to step in and again push prices down to close at around 342. And similarly on Friday, we can see that prices encounter some resistance at the upper part of the range. Now let's take a look at the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we see that there was price rejections at the upper part of the range. So this was the first price rejection, and another price rejection, and then another price rejection over here. And for the lower part of the range, there was support at that level. So we take a look at here. So this was the first one, this was the second one, third one, and fourth one. So when there's an overhead resistance and a below support level, and when prices are moving in this range, we say that prices are trading in a range. So moving forward, I'll be taking a look at how prices react to this range. If prices break above this range, then this indicates that there might be further potential upside for prices. However, on the other hand, if prices break below this support level, then this might indicate that there might be further potential downside for prices. So that's my technical analysis for the S&P 500. Now let's take a look at the Dow Jones. So we'll start off with the weekly time frame and work our way down from there. So let me clear the technicals. For the Dow Jones overall, we are still in a long-term uptrend. So if we start from this point over here and we draw, we will see that prices were making higher lows and higher highs. So if we compare the lows over here, and over here, and if we compare the highs over here, and over here, we'll see that for the Dow Jones, prices were making higher lows and higher highs. So for the intermediate and longer term, the Dow Jones is still on an uptrend. So that's for the weekly time frame. Now let's take a look at the daily time frame for the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones also experienced a pullback or a correction over here, but we have so far managed to recover most of the losses made during the correction and pullback. If we take a look at the price chart, we'll notice that there was quite a bit of rejection over here and rejection over here. So this indicates to us at the price level of around 290, there's strong resistance at the price level. And we also had some resistance at this price level of around 287. So this was the first resistance. Then we also had some resistance over here. And then we see that there was also a resistance over here and resistance over here. This green box over here at the price level of around 287 is a resistance zone to look out for. And as for the green box over here, this is also a zone of interest. So if we take a look at the left side of the chart, there was some resistance over here. But when prices break above this zone, prices managed to find some support over here. And over at this side over here, we see that there was also a bit of resistance. And now prices are finding a bit of support at this level over here. So in the past week for the Dow Jones, you see that prices were basically trading within this range. So the upper part of the range is indicated by this green box over here, and the lower part of the range is indicated by this green box. So since prices are trading in this range, moving forward, what I'm taking a look out for is how prices react to this range. Specifically, how prices react to the upper part of the range or how prices react to the lower part of the range. So if prices manage to break through this upper part of the resistance and manage to hold above this resistance, then this indicates to me that there might be further potential upside for prices. Conversely, if prices manage to break below the support and hold below the support, then this indicates to me that there might be further potential downside for prices. So far you see that we are not trying to predict prices, but instead we are letting the price action tells us where prices are likely to go. So for this case over here, for the Dow Jones, right now prices are trading in a range. But we're not predicting whether prices are going up or going down. But rather we are letting prices take its own course and how it reacts to certain important levels. And then we make our analysis from there. That's my technical analysis for the Dow Jones. Now let's take a look at the Nasdaq. So we'll begin with the weekly time frame and work our way down from there. On the weekly time frame, we see how strong the recovery for the Nasdaq was during the pandemic. Since its bottom in around March, the Nasdaq has risen parabolically during the past couple of months. However, in recent weeks, there was a noticeable slowdown in bullish momentum for the Nasdaq. From here to here, you see that the Nasdaq has just been charging forward. But in recent weeks, there was a sharp correction and pullback for prices over here. Now let's take a look at the daily time frame. Let's also bring on the technicals for the daily time frame. Over here, prices made its high and form a hanging man candlestick. And when a hanging man candlestick forms after an extended rally, this signals to us a potential decline in prices. And on top of this hanging man candlestick, we also see the formation of an evening star pattern over here. So the evening star pattern consists of 3 candlesticks. So this is the first candlestick, second candlestick, and third candlestick. So this was a variation of the evening star pattern. So when we see an evening star pattern forms after an extended rally, it indicates to us a possible bearish reversal. What this means is that after an evening star pattern forms, prices are likely to decline from there. And we see prices declining after that. At this level of around 260, prices managed to find support here. And after finding support here, prices managed to push to the upside. But in the most recent 2 weeks, prices declined quite a bit. But overall, we are still on an uptrend because prices are making higher lows. So here, compared to here, compared to here. So despite the decline, prices are still making higher lows and higher highs. Therefore, we are still on an uptrend. Now let's analyze the price action for the Nasdaq in the past week. So we begin on Monday where there was a huge bearish candlestick and bearish momentum. However, the bearish momentum did not continue for the rest of the week. After Monday, we see that there was quite a bit of indecision in the market for the rest of the week. This is indicated by the doji candlesticks in the next couple of days. So the market started the week with a bearish bias. However, for the rest of the week, it changed towards a more neutral stance. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame to have a greater insight into the price action. We see that there was a clear rejection of prices over here, and over here. So we know that there was a clear overhead resistance over prices. And we also see prices finding support over here, and over here. So prices are trading in this range of around 285 to 281. So moving forward, I'll be taking a look at how prices react to either the resistance or the support levels. So if prices manage to break above the resistance and hold above it, then this tells me that there's bullish momentum behind prices. But if prices did not manage to break above the resistance, but instead fall below the support level, then this tells me that there is bearish momentum behind prices. So that's my technical analysis for the Nasdaq and the US stock markets as a whole. Hopefully you guys have learned something from this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I release one new video about investing, trading, and the stock market each week. And you don't want to miss out on any of these videos. I'll see you in those other videos. To your financial success.